Hey guys, welcome back. So excuse my messy desk. It's really bad over here. I'm in the middle of creating for a upcoming show, and I just don't have time to get it all clean for a video, but I did want to put one up. So I'm planning on making another flower. This one's a little bit more fall colored themed, and we're going to add a little element into it. So if you want to follow along, I have got bright green. This is all Primo. This is a bright pearl green and white. We have a regular green, added some black to make a nice little dark green. We have orange and white. We have pomegranate and white and cad yellow and white. And I cut 2 strips of every color because we're going to make a really nice big cane. Why I only have one here, I don't know. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to create Skinner blends like that, and roll it into a bullseye cane, or whatever you want to call them. Just roll them up into a round cane, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back, and I kind of messed up on this. I didn't have a second color to go with this, so we're going to do this kind of like the old-fashioned way. And I'm just going to make a petal that's striated in with just the colors that I've got here. This is going to be the center of the flower. So now I want to reduce this because I want to put this back through the machine. And if you've watched any of my other videos, you don't want to go top to bottom. You want to go side, because you're going to run it through the pasta machine so that this strip is long this way. You do it that way where you only see one color, you're going to squish all of the peach and all of the white together. And I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to squish it like this. I hope I made a big enough cane for the center. Okay, I'm going to run this through the pasta machine just once at a 0. It's not even, but that's okay. And I'm cutting them at 1.5 strips. We're just going to create a little bit of striation here. Okay, and now we're just going to make this into a petal. So we're going to just put it in a round shape for now. Bend all your corners. Okay, that's all we needed to do on that one. So I'm probably going to wrap this just so that I've got some nice contrast to go with it. And I don't want to put black with orange, because then you're going to get like an orangey gold. I'm going to wrap it with some alizarin crimson. Not quite sure how to pronounce this. I know this strip isn't big enough, but it's weird. I've been so busy creating earrings and stuff like that for the show, and haven't been in here playing much. And it's kind of like, I don't want to say riding a bike, you never forget, but it just feels kind of foreign to me to be in here. It's been a while. Even though it's only been a week, it's been a while. Okay, so this one, all these little air bubbles, something that I never can avoid. Okay, so the red and the yellow, we're going to do like we did in our last video, and we're going to cut them in 4s. So I'm going to squish them down because it makes it easier for me. And let's see if I can find a better blade. And these are all going to be squished, so I'm not really worried if they're even or anything like that, because we're squishing them all together just so we can make a few striated pieces. Okay, so we're going to take the red and alternate the red and the yellow. It's a pretty easy cane to make. And I'm not really worried that this isn't in the perfect square. I'm not going to cut them off. I'm just going to take the corners here and I'm just going to kind of roll them so that the yellow on the outside goes all the way around. And there we go. Okay, so now we're going to squish this into a triangle. Oops. Yeah. Whoa. Oh, I keep forgetting one side was yellow, one side was red. I'm like, okay, where did the red go on this side? It completely disappeared. It's just a rough draft here. Well, we can go to about 3 inches. Again, I'm not worried about perfection or anything, and I grab the old blade. Okay. Take this 3 inches now, or maybe to 2, and then we're going to cut it one more time. Because we want these to be pretty pronounced. And if you keep going, you just blend them all in together. So just push your sides in, and this one's just going to be 5 petals. So we're going to add some elements in the middle. Longer than what I wanted, but yeah, I used it like the way I had it. I love the way that red just bleeds into it. Okay, so now we're just going to leave this alone. And we're going to get it to 3 inches. Okay, so that's what it looks like. I don't know if my camera's going to focus today or not. So now we just got to make sure this one looks as good as that. little bit more. Good enough. A little thinner on that side than it is on this side. Okay, so we're going to cut that in half. Then we're going to lay it on its side. Okay, so your point of the flower, the bottom of the flower is going to be touching, and so is the top. Now, I want to use that orange. So I'm making a big indentation there on the bottom. And then this is going to go in there. But before we do that, we're going to do the same thing to this as we did to that. We're going to do them with all three, actually. This was a little different, though. So let me just see. Yeah, see, I don't like that. I do not like that. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of this crimson to the middle and give it some nice lines in there too. So honestly, we probably could have done it the other way, but it wouldn't have had the dark red. So we're going to do that, and we're probably going to do one more cut. I want this kind of rounded. Okay, so I think that's all we're going to do on that one. This one we might have a little bit of waste. Okay, so now we're just going to kind of, you know, if you want, and that's going really far back, you could cover the top if you want. I'm not quite sure how big I want this. But I want it to go not quite to the top, maybe 3/4 of the way up, and then all the way down. So that's probably going to be about 3/4 of an inch. Save that for another project. Okay, so I want this nice and tall. I think I want to go a little bit higher, so I'm going to just turn these around like this. Just kind of go a little farther down. Okay, so what I want to do now, I'll push that in a little bit, but I want it to go nice and tall. Kind of looks like a, I don't know, looks like a hot air balloon. Okay. So now we're just going to kind of take all of that and kind of wrap it all around it. But I want to leave that red showing because it's going to be a great guide for us to know where we want to go. Okay, so that's all we did. So now we're just going to round up our flowers as well. So I'm just going to take the corners and just kind of round them by pushing in. Okay, so now we're going to get this into 5 parts. I don't want to roll it. And there we go. Kind of knew that was going to happen. So where are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wait, 7.5, I think. Yeah, I think it's 7.5 to make 5. Okay, so now we're going to take that bottom part. I'm going to squish it into our triangle now. Just need a little longer. Okay, that looks good. So 1.5, 3, 1.5, 6, 7.5. Okay, so there's the inside of our flower. Okay, now hopefully this works. I've seen it in my head, haven't figured that part out yet. Got a lot of leftover. That's a really, it's a pretty cool flower. I like the colors. But now we're going to add a little bit of green leaf to it, I think. So this is going to be the interesting part. And the way we're going to do this is the exact same way we did all the other ones. Well, this is a little taller, but I don't feel like squishing this all the way down. So we're just going to take it from here. Ooh, yes, I cannot cut straight. Or can I hold things in my hand? Okay, so we're going to just take this. Alrighty. And we're going to do the same. We're just going to take that green on the outside and we're just going to fold it down. Okay, kind of like it's touching the other green. Okay, and that kind of rounds everything up. And now we're going to do the same thing. And so since this is going to fit in between both of these, oops, sorry about that. That was my head that hit that. So I don't know how far it went, but sorry about that. So it's going to fit in between those flowers. So this is going to end up really small. So what we're going to do is what we did with the red and the yellow. We're just going to cut it in half. Ah, yikes. This one's going to be weird. That's why I like having the two colors. I probably could have made two Skinner blends with a dark green and white and then a pearl green and a white, but I ended up not doing that. I don't know why I put it together now that I think about it, but we're going to make this look good regardless. It's just going to be different. Got a bunch of ghosts in our clay. That's what they look like. Okay, so I might just do one more cut. And this one we're going to leave with a flat bottom because this is going to flatten up the top of our round flower. And then hopefully we won't have to use translucent except to wrap. And guess what I did again? I bet you guys know it this time. I did not wrap my cane before I reduced it in this color. And it's the second time I've done that. So while I'm reducing this, if you want to go do that, if you're working with me, probably wouldn't be a bad idea. Oh, look at that. That's a burst. Okay, so we're going to leave that just as it is. We're going to make 5 pieces of these, but I'm going to go wrap these in some crimson. So I'm going to pause and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so we are back. Oh, I never did reduce this, did I? Boy, I'll be right back again. Okay, so we're back. We cut one piece just to see if it's going to fit in there. I think this is a little long, but I just need to see where we are as far as size-wise. And it looks like I can go just a little more. Sure, I like that yellow in the center. I got a yellow, a crimson, and a green. These are at what? It's not a list. Okay. So now we're going to try this again. Okay, we just want to make sure everything lines up And then I'll sharpen the edges and get them perfect. Okay, so I think that's good enough. So we're going to set that right there. And now I'm just going to kind of take our petals and just make a nice little point. Okay. So now we're going to make sure that they're all nice, touching each other. But again, not too concerned about placement because I need to do these guys. So I think this is going to have to be a little less than 1/4 inch. Or 1/2 inch, I'm sorry. Okay, we're just going to cut this really quick. Okay, so this is going to lay flat. Okay. Now you can wrap a little bit of translucent around it if you want. I'm not going to do that this time. I'm also wondering if I should make the petal wrap it in a solid color, but I was going to do like a dark green, but if you look at the crimson, it's really dark. So I think that might be enough to outline. I don't think I'd see the green even if I wanted to. I don't think we're going to see a separation here. So what do we have that is a size wise? So it's a little less than 1/2 inch. Okay, and we need 5 of these. Okay, so we need at least 6 inches. And I already know that's going to be way too tall. Okay, so we're going to try it right here. I think there's going to be just a little bit of adjusting. I need one more, especially over here. I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to squish them back together. Okay, so now we're going to come to this one. Just going to kind of lay it right in there next to it. Okay, we're just going to kind of squish it all in like that. Now we get to turn it around. And not too much damage today, so that's kind of good. So now we're just going to kind of push them around. all closed up. Okay, so that's it. These are a little bigger than I wanted them, which means that my petals probably weren't big enough to start with. So I'm going to condition some, oh my gosh, I told you, it's just really weird being here. I feel so off. But anyways, I'm just going to condition some white translucent and I'm going to wrap it. Okay, so just to show you, we have a layer of white translucent on top. And this is cut at a 0. Just make sure you get it nice and trim. It kind of reminds me of a Christmas flower with red and green. And I guess with Christmas coming up, that might not be a bad idea. But I was going for fall. Green may have not been a really great choice, but it would have if it actually looked like a leaf in between it and not part of the flower. So it's a little bigger. I think next time what I want to do is I just want it up here, you know, just a little spot up here. But anyways, it is what it is. It'll probably look out good. So we're going to go ahead and reduce this and I'll show you the final cut. Okay, so we are ready to cut into this. So let's see what we got here. Oops, and I used the wrong side of the blade, which doesn't help when you're trying to show it. Much better. Alrighty, you ready? Okay, so they're interesting. They're kind of Christmassy. I still like them. I think they're a real pretty color combo. So let's kind of test it out real quick. So we got some old green here. Let's go ahead and mix this up. Alright, we're just going to play. So these are really big flowers, so I'm going to make a really big hunking bead. Okay, so maybe these will make some nice Christmas beads. So I'm just going to cut a couple thin slices here. When you cut your slices, kind of roll it as you go, because they kind of get really long, especially if the clay is really soft. You know, it would be really nice is if I had a background of a snowflake. Make these really small and put it on top with a snowflake behind it. Actually, I do have those canes that we made with the silver and the gold, so those might actually look good. I might make a couple of those and see what we get here. Wow, it's gonna take a lot. I didn't realize the bead was so big. Gonna squish that together so we don't have to use another one. I don't have any Christmas jewelry made, so I may take a detour and maybe make something Christmassy. Okay, so I'm just rolling it in my palms, kind of going back and forth, and that'll give you your round bead. Maybe I can make some holly or something like that. Set that right on top. Okay, so there you go. Got this really pretty floral bead. So just for the heck of it, I'll be right back and let's see the happens when I have that snowflake on it. Alrighty, well, I'm back, but not real happy because I cannot find that cane that we made last week, I think it was, or 2 weeks ago, that looked like this. But I had one in gold and one in a silver. All I could find was the silver. So this is what our experiment is going to be on, I guess. So I'm going to try and cut my bead a little smaller. I think that's going to be way too big. Wow, I have no idea where it went. I mean, I've got a lot of cane, but I don't have that much. Okay. So I'll put that over there. I got a little piece right there. I'll do one more. It looks like tonight I'm gonna have to clean up and try and find what I did with it. Or just let it go until after my show, because everything in this room is completely chaotic. And it will be like that for 3 more weeks. Okay, so there's that one cane we made. And this is the silver. The other one's gold, that I think would look a lot better with the red and the green. So I reduced this so that they were really small. I can probably go 5 or 6, I think. Okay, so we're just gonna plop them on areas here and there. And then we'll see what it looks like when we cook it. I really need a new storage place for my canes because whatever I have is not working very well. Okay, so there you go with a little bit of the background. And if you really wanted to, you could take like a leaf. This might be a little too big. And all this is a few leaves in a green and wrapped in translucent. It's kind of like a leaf vine. You know, and you could even throw that anywhere on there. This is a little thick. It'll look better when it's baked. I'm not sure if I like losing the background, but all kinds of stuff you can do. So that's